Hello, hello, welcome to the reading, everyone. Welcome. So, really lovely reading for the start of December, end of November. This is a reading of beauty. So, this is going to touch more deeper into the idea of beauty. It's not about the superficial, which is nothing wrong with the superficial, right? We all wear clothes and do things to our bodies to modify them in a way, whether that's makeup or surgeries or anything, right? To have that physical appearance that we feel comfortable in our own skin. But this is going to be deeper into the idea of beauty and understanding that, I guess, the opposite of beauty would be ugliness, and feeling into both, really. You wouldn't understand beauty if you hadn't experienced ugliness, right? So to master beauty, you must master the opposites, and I feel that's the same for all. Love is to go through unloved, or selflessness is like to go through selfishness, right? To really understand the differences, whether we are going through it or we see it in others. So that is what the reading's about. Just a little side note, this deck here is one I've created with the help, I guess you could say, and assistance from an illustrator. So definitely check these cards out. There will be a description below where you can check out the project that I've been creating and follow the journey of that as well. However, we'll get into the reading today. It's funny, the song that's playing at the moment is called Hungry. I don't know why. Maybe there's like someone out there that just needs to like pause and go have a snack or get some water. Because this will be probably quite a deep one, but it will be a lighter touch. We can still go deep and be observant rather than, fearful or anything like that. So let's take a look at which cards come through. It is very hot here today, I just want to say. Very warm. I've got like a mini heat wave. All right, so here are your three piles. For pile number 1, you have the Ascended Master Saint Germain and Amethyst with Spiritual Connection. This is Crystal Master number 333. Pile 2. You have Goddess Sekhmet and the Fire Agate with Passion of the Lion Heart. Crystal Goddess 888. And for pile number 3, you have the Goddess Wang and Stromatolite with Rare Success. And Goddess number 888. Alright, these will be your 3 piles. Pick whichever one or ones work for you, and you'll see the description below will have the timestamps. You can jump straight to your video. What I'll do is give you some space and time to connect with whichever card or pile is calling to you. And yes, I will see you in your reading. Hello, welcome to your reading pile number 1. So you're reading around beauty. It feels like it's going to be like the art of beauty for whatever reason that is. We'll see in the message. However, you've chosen the Ascended Master Saint Germain and the Amethyst. Very spiritual tools, right? The Amethyst, the purpleness of Saint Germain, it always comes through with like purple energy, kind of similar to Archangel Zadkiel in a way. His energy, to me anyway, everyone's going to have a different kind of connection with different entities. But the reason why I can speak to it is he's been kind of coming through with some kind of like harmonizing energy recently. Anywho, this one's spiritual connection. This is connecting to true beauty, not the human beauty. So if you were looking for a reading that was more around physical appearance and stuff like that, then maybe this one won't necessarily resonate with that. However, just listen to the message because I feel like it is still for you. There might be something that's like deeper that you can appreciate about yourself on the outside by learning what true beauty is from the inside, that kind of thing. I know it's very cliche, but this is just how the reading's coming through now. So let's take a look. This is more touching on your divinity. You've got the siren. Maybe we'll touch on a little bit of the 3D beauty as well. And you've got the self. Yeah, this is definitely like inner beauty, right? So the reason why I said maybe we'll touch on a little bit of the external with this card, I mean, spiritual connections is about connecting with your soul. Your soul is eternal, it is pure love, right? It is beauty, it is beautiful. And the siren is kind of like when we, there's a lot of mythology around like sirens and mermaids and things like that. They, to me, feel kind of separate or different energetically, whereas sirens have like an idea of luring usually male sailors, right? Generally sailors were male back in the day, to their deaths, right? They kind of seduce them with their voice to lure them to either crash or to jump into the water, and then they would be drowned or taken away or whatever. A lot of the many different stories have. So this is kind of like a distraction and making sure you're not being distracted by something pretty. This could be like, it's kind of like pretty face or pretty privilege, that kind of thing. This isn't about necessarily anything you have to go towards. It's more of like, be mindful of the things that seem attractive or seem pretty and glitzy and are really just distractions from your own self-worth. It's like your worth isn't given to you because you wear this clothes, this makeup, this style of have the style of home or dress or whatever. You're already like pure and perfect the way that your soul has been intended for this incarnation. So tap into the soul. That's how you can notice your true beauty. This is going to be all connection with self. You may even be connecting with your higher self. This doesn't feel like a connection with someone else who allows you to be this, that, or the other. This is connecting to your true self, so you remember your true beauty. Okie dokie. Interesting one already. Just move them slightly. Actually, I'll grab these cards. Okay. Go. All right, let's take a look at these cards. So you've got the Careless, Exorcist, and Dull with Foresight, Cleanse, and Rushed. And you also have Power Animal. It says here, your animal spirit guide is a guardian to you and is helping you with this situation. I kind of like that because, I mean, humans see animals in very different ways, right? Sometimes it can be you're this person or that person if you like this, that, or the other. But really, we're just people and we connect with different animal beings, different souls in different ways, and it doesn't need to be categorized or judged It just either is or isn't. But I feel like with the power animal coming through the situation, animal spirits are really quite nice in the way that we don't try to read their expressions and things like that. Sometimes people will give an expression right, a cat will turn around with like big bug eyes and we think that's shock or like surprise or something, and it's just like how the animal might look, right? But anywho, animals generally don't have that feeling of judgment or criticism and may be really helpful to connect with. And then that way you'll be able to feel free to truly express yourself. Maybe in the 3D as well, you have animals who you feel connected and can talk to. And you don't have to talk to them like they're going to respond, but, you know, just having conversation. Like when I'm chatting with my cat when I'm feeding, it's like, come on, you know, this kind of thing. And it's like, someone was there kind of criticizing, but like, they're not understanding you. They don't, but I feel like they do understand us, right? They can hear pitch and tone. They respond to our moods. So I feel like that is something to connect with, because this idea of beauty needs to start from the foundations, and animals are very instinctual, right? They have very base element type energies. And then it's layered on top of that, and just like us, we have our tribe, our fight, flight, fears, and survival and food gathering, right, are the important stuff. And then we're layered on top of that, and when a lot of needs are met, we kind of forget how important they are because we just assume that they should be always there, when that stuff can be taken away, right? Something could happen and the water could be shut off, or a huge storm rolls through and the power's cut off, and that's when we start to like think about all this stuff, how much we rely on certain things and how appreciative of that we can be. Not sure why it has to go that deep or in that kind of direction, but that's how that was coming through. And the Careless Exorcist and the doll, it's an interesting story. The Exorcist is like kind of like top of her class, you could say, like very well versed, very onto it, probably comes from like a lineage or something like that, where she in this picture was very, very connected with spirits and knows how to deal with dark entities. So there could be, I don't want to say there's like, hey, you've got an attachment, because I don't want to fear anybody. And I don't think anyone has like necessarily an attachment, but it could be a situation where you might want to check where your priorities or where your mind is sitting, because you are a reflection of, or like people can be a reflection of you. And so if you're putting out certain energies into your environment, that can sometimes reflect back, right? When someone is nasty to people, it can turn them around and be nasty back, and it just ends up being a reflection back. Even if the other person was perfectly fine, they just lowered their vibration to match this negative energy and start pushing and pulling and fighting back. You know, it just doesn't really, it's unnecessary. So I believe that's kind of where this one is coming through. It's just be very mindful. You don't have to rush off and do anything about it. It's just be very mindful of where your energy's at. Doesn't mean it's an attachment. It could be just like globules of energy floating around, like when you're, I don't know, in a pool or something, and someone throws like diving toys in, right? They just kind of like either float there or sit there, and they can kind of bump into you, and then you can get tangled up in them or something like that, right? It's kind of like that with negative energy. If it's just floating around, you mind your own business, you can get like waves of it and be like, is this mine or is it not? Come back to who you truly are, and that will kind of like energetically wash clean of whatever's around you that's not actually yours. All of this is going through the heart space, going through your soul. There's no middleman, if that makes sense. So if you do work with someone, feel free to work with your guides, your ancestors, your whoever, but really make sure that you're getting the information from your soul, because this is all from you, and trusting in like the balance of who you are. It's really important to discovering your own soul's beauty, basically. Okay. You've got the Holy Wells of Ireland with alchemy. I harness my magic. Alchemy is that co-creative energy. This is definitely working with your soul, your God self. It's really remembering your power. You've got the Tibetan monk with mindfulness. I listen to the wisdom of my heart. That's where I was thinking of going through the soul space. In my mind, the soul space is our heart space. Not to get confused with maybe the heart chakra. I mean, they kind of like coalesce or coexist, right? But it's just like the whole heart center, not just romance or who belongs to me, right? That kind of energy of like, I want this person, I want them to be mine type thing. That is not the love or beauty that I'm talking about. This is about the care and respect for yourself and your own path and what you create and what you do and what you have. So it's touching on many different things. Not to be lured away by cheap tricks, right? Whether that's, hey, this product will make you feel better about yourself. And maybe it will, right? Maybe it does actually help. But the inner work is going to be the thing that lasts forever. It's not the giving a man a fish, you know, that saying, give a man a fish, feed him for a day, teach a man to fish, feed him for a lifetime. It's like this work that you do is like very powerful learning for the rest of your life. And so, yeah, this is the way through it. It's through the spiritual connection. And Saint Germain, his representation with the violet flame is about letting go, right? Releasing any old ideas. If you were told certain things by the TV screen, right? An advertisement, they don't freaking know you, right? They're just trying to make money for whatever product they're trying to sell, basically. So you have to kind of like weed through the bullshit and get the true story of the matter. Or it could have been people around you saying, you know, these clothes are better than this clothes, or, you know, whatever. This is a time of moving back to our true selves, not what everyone else wants us to be, what everyone else thinks we should be. You know, this is not it. That's old. Okay. Got the King of Cups, emotional maturity. Yeah, you might have to be very firm with yourself, but it's so worth going within. You know, the little crab, it's got that hard exterior. It's got that softer innards, I guess. Which sounds kind of gross, but you know what I mean? Like, the King of Cups is emotional growth, emotional maturity. Can be someone else who has that fatherly masculine energy, and I feel like there's a lot of masculine energy coming through here. Something I just wanted to pop up with mindfulness. Your connection is personal to you and how you do it. Whether you have music, whether you go for a walk in the woods, whether you just lie in the sun under shade, hopefully, especially if you're in Australia because it's pretty hot. The sun's a bit wild, but you know what I mean? Like it's how you want to do it. It's that connection and peace. Interesting with the Four of Cups too. This is definitely touching into a huge amount of emotional feelings towards yourself, right? How do you really feel towards yourself might be something to ask. And if it comes across that you feel negative, right, or anything like that, do some automatic writing and ask your higher self or your soul self or your true self, right? How do you feel? And just write whatever it is, whatever comes through. Because then you'll be able to see if you're really connected with your higher self or you're connected with some kind of like negative energy, or even if your ego is dictating a lot of your feelings and thoughts. Because the Four of Cups generally is like disappointment. It's kind of like hangover energy, right? It's like there's like disappointment, there's kind of like, was it worth the energy or the time or focusing on this, that, or the other? Especially if you try to change who you are to please someone, never do that. It's not going to work. I don't care if it's a parent or a partner. Parents need to live their own lives. Partners live their own lives as well as like co-create with you, right? But trying to be something for someone else in a way that you either think they want you to be, or even, especially if they tell you, like it's like tell you to be this kind of way. There's something there, right? Like look into it, review it, basically. See if that's still right for you. Because it's kind of, I feel like it's quite scary in the sense of sitting with a group of people that you feel should be your tribe, right? And still not feeling connected. That's, to me, kind of worse than the person who goes on their lone wolf way and just does their own thing. They're alone, right? But they're choosing it, whereas this other person's choosing to be a part of the group, but not by being themselves, by just trying to fit in. So that could be something like respect the beauty that's you in whatever way it comes through. Got the Princess of Pentacles too. I kind of like her coming through here with her little flower and the pentacle on the other side. What is in the background? I saw something here, but it's just rocks. It kind of looked like a person elegantly walking through, but I was like, they look huge. Anyway, it's just some rocks. Princess of Pentacles, learning the art of the element of earth, right? Understanding why it's important to be here, why it's important to ground energy in. You can go off into crazy spaces in the astral, and that's fine. Like, that's okay. You can do that. That's no problem at all. This is just really talking to where are you, where is your energy going, and how do I ground in or anchor in pure truth within me, within my body. Like, how do I, you know how there's a lot of meditations where they get you to ground your energy into the earth and stay anchored in. Remember to do that after, during meditation, even after meditation, or even just like when you wake up in the morning, feeling connected with the earth, helping you move through the day. It's going to help you be in the good mindset for good things, basically. Okay. You have the Wheel of Fortune. Oh, this one wants to come through. Okay, that's why. It's got the Lover's card. Okay. Cards flying at the moment. And you've got the Three of Pentacles. Let's pop these over here. So these three cards here, Wheel of Fortune, lovely energy, right? This even talks, like this specific card talks about down here, it's got Malkuth, or Malkut, so it's a Tav, and up here, where is it, Keter. So it's talking about the tree of life, and you can kind of see that with the symbology and all the little planetary symbols and everything else. It's got like the elements, got everything going on here, like it's a busy card. And right next to the Lover's card, which is a choice. So it really does come back to, it's a choice how you perceive beauty within yourself and within the surroundings. Yes, there are societal ideals, right? Yes, there are influences out there, but if they don't resonate and they don't help you, then why do you need to subscribe to them? Is a really important thing here. You're an infinite soul of like source energy, right? God, whatever you want to call it. So trust in that energy. That doesn't mean you go out and attack people that don't do what you might shift and do. This isn't about other people comparing or anything like that. Let people be who they are. And even if it's not really working for them, maybe give them advice if they ask for it, right? Or help if they ask for it. But if they don't ask for it, just let them be. Focus on your own healing, your own perfection, basically. And when I say that, I don't mean like trying to be perfect. I mean your own infinite perfection. That makes sense. and find the people, don't sit in the crowds that you feel may help you get like this, that, or the other. Resonate, figure out your frequency, and you'll start to reflect and find energetical matches for you that you can work with, that you can co-create with, that can actually be kind of fun. Just because some group of people think clothes and all that kind of thing are more important than what's on the inside doesn't mean you have to be around it, doesn't mean you have to judge it. Just leave it, let it go, and go have fun basically with people that enjoy the same kind of or similar kind of fun that you like. Lover's card is a option card, like as a choice card. In traditional, very, very traditional tarot, this one's quite more modern, but in very, very traditional depictions, especially some of the very old cards before Rider-Waite-Smith, right, like very old ones, they show a person who has a choice, right? He has a choice of marrying this woman for status, for his family want that, the other family want that, to have like, share wealth, that kind of thing, or share status. And then on the other side is a woman that he loves for who she is. And so you never really know who he's going to pick, but that's like a difficult choice, right? It's like, do I do these things to myself for me? Do I wear these clothes for me? Do I wear this makeup for me? Do I not eat these foods for me? All this kind of stuff. What am I doing? And is it for my own satisfaction, or is it to please or find something that I think is what people want to see? Basically, love yourself. It all starts within you, and if your energy is spread out trying to look around you for things instead of recognizing the beauty within, and I mean within, the soul beauty as well, you kind of miss the point of what pure beauty really is. How to go through that is to master your connection with yourself, recognize what is truly you, what is ego you. Ego you isn't bad, true you isn't good only, right? It's just more like these are parts of ourselves. The ego is part of ourselves. So the more we criticize and judge ourselves, the less beauty we're recognizing within ourselves. None of any part of you is wrong. Just ask yourself, is it resonating or is it working for you now? And that'll help you realize what is not working and figure out ways by trusting your intuition, your connection with self, to find solutions to bring peace into your life. And that is where I'm going to leave it for you today, pile number 1. I hope this resonated and hope this helped you. All these readings are here to help you appreciate your energy while reading this message. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to pop them in below. Otherwise, look after yourself, take care of yourself, and be kind to yourself. And I'll see you next time. Hello, welcome today to your reading, pile number 2. So I feel like you're going to really love this reading. It's going to empower you because you've literally chosen the super empowering card, right? Goddess Sekhmet sometimes comes through with like kind of feline, like fiery feline energy. And you've got the fire agate, passion of the lion heart, very strong here with recognizing the passion and the fire within your soul. This is going to be your beauty reading. Is really like your strength is your beauty. This isn't stereotypical human beauty kind of standards, right? This is, I remember someone, like certain people talking about when they started to have boundaries and stand up for themselves, that's when people saw them as like being rude or being an asshole, right? And that kind of stuff. And really, it's like, no, they aren't actually, they're just not being they're just not being yes man or yes woman, or just being kind of like seen as like doormats, right? Just following along with whatever other people tell them to do. And so they're like, oh, they're difficult, they're bitchy, or this, that, or the other. It's like, no, they just have empowered themselves to not be doormats to you. And because you want someone to say the same, you're now unhappy with, the good changes that you've decided to make in your life. So I really like this for you, and maybe you need this energy, or maybe you're already well aware of your own inner power, and this is just like a good reminder of your strength. So this is beauty and strength. Okay, let's grab some cards. Very cool card to come out first. Yeah, you've remembered who you are. You've got Starborn. This is so good. This is so good. I don't know why I'm getting really excited. I had a meditation before this, and at the start of the meditation, he was like, don't fall asleep, because I was listening to a recorded one. And I thought I fell asleep, and so I woke up, and then I heard ding, and it was over, and I was like, oh, okay. Did I fall asleep, or did I think I fell asleep? I don't know, but I had a good wander in the astral. And so anyway, I feel like the Starborn here, especially with this cracked egg, is like the egg of wisdom and knowledge, or just like your own birthright. Talking about birthright, you're always supposed to have exactly what you have. Interesting with the empty room kind of popping up from the birth and seeing everything as open room. The empty room can be kind of like daunting, but it's also so good once it's done. It's like when you, I don't know if other people feel this, but when you move out of a house and it's all clean and it's like the walls are all newly painted or whatever and everything looks nice and tidy, you're like, oh, I could probably just move back into here. I just needed that whole big cleanse, although you've already got your new house to go to. You know, it's that kind of energy. It's like, wow, there's just like an open canvas. Some people can see it as daunting. Some people can see it as like, great, we've cleared out all the old bullshit. Now it's time to like play or like express myself, right? This is really, really beauty. Remembering who you are, even if you don't remember where your soul's birth or came from, right? It's knowing your value and worth, and that's exactly where this reading is heading into. Very, very cool. Yeah, you could have had to go through some stuff to figure this out. And that's how life works. We don't just get beauty from being given beautiful things. Let's say we're giving a flower every day. That just becomes routine, right? It's like every day we get a beautiful flower. We appreciate the flower, but as it just keeps happening and happening, it becomes routine. Doesn't mean we stop appreciating it, of course. I'm sure people would. But it becomes our normal until it's either taken away or like ugliness, like the opposite of beauty, ugliness happens, and we have to go through a process of reclaiming our value and worth, or like if we're told we're not worthy or this kind of stuff, right? We're kind of walked all over. Whatever the situation may be in the past, this is like the benefit of going through that, even if it wasn't a great experience, is that I definitely now know my value worth. I have definitely seen the ray of what's beautiful and what's ugly, right? Or like what's good and what's bad, or what's healthy and what's unhealthy for me. I've gone through all this to get to here, and so while it had to take some time, it's just like the auspiciousness and gain. It's like, this is the lucky time. You're in a good space to really continue that momentum of the hard work and the growth that you have accumulated with. So appreciate yourself as well. Remember to keep appreciating yourself. Don't go online and look up stuff where people are just commenting horrible, hateful shit. Just leave it and go within, because that's way better than some of the brain rot of like mindless scrolling. And if you do that, don't worry. I do it as well. It's hard to snap out of it sometimes. It's really catchy, right? But I think we're pulling away from that and remembering like, oh yeah, there's the outside world we need to focus on as well. Okay, this card is in the way. Oh, you've got fairies. It says, you have strong bond with the fairies, and your life purpose involves helping Mother Nature, maybe even getting back in touch with nature. Maybe you do come from a place where you were kind of like had lives as fairies. I've listened to past life kind of regressions, and this person was talking about fairies and how they kind of like were just kind of like, it was a kind of like quote unquote easy life, except they didn't cross any borders into like human world, because that's when shit could get dangerous, right, for them, even if they were interested in exploring it. And I think they probably were, where they decided to have an incarnation on Earth. Maybe that's part of your lineage, and so you really get to see the blessing of being on Earth, and also the challenges that come with a life in this environment. I do not believe anyone comes to Earth with everything just working out perfectly. There'll be a lot of stuff where it does go well, but you never know what other people's inner worlds and what they have to deal with, whether it's like mental health or anything, right? So comparing is never good anyway. But I do like this. This could be like part of your soul journey. These flowers kind of reminisce with the Starborn card. Okay. So you have the water temple with devotion. I bow to the sacred water of life. I love these flowers coming through. It's very like, it's very beauty, right? Like if we think of something beautiful, we might think of like our children, or like if we think of ones in nature, we'll think of like mountains or trees or flowers especially. So flowers just seems to be very strong in this reading. Overcome all obstacles. Yeah, you tap into your energy and your value, your worth, the love and beauty of self. You'll never repeat any past challenges because you've already overcome them. So just remember that, and don't be afraid of the other side where it's new and unknown, but freeing. There's like freedom on the other side. This feels really good. I feel like there's a huge collective shift. I'm reading these before I go on holiday, and so I don't know what happens, obviously, because I'm reading them now, which I'm in November, but like, you know, it just feels like now there's a big shift occurring. I mean, there's always shifts, but this feels like, you know, celebrating the end of the year and going into the next, even though still got a month to go, right? But maybe like a spiritual year is already finished or something. So celebrating and going into the next, focusing on your own value and not telling other people how to live, right? And also not letting other people tell you how to live. It's just like, I don't know, it just feels like freedom. It's like freedom from the constraints of feeling like you have to be anything other than yourself, because you've already earned your right to be you, right? And it wasn't something you even needed to earn. It was always there. You just need to be reminded of that. Queen. Yep. Queen of Swords. Sometimes given a bad rap, right? Especially in traditional tarot, of like the widow, the like, the crone, the kind of like, not that any of these things are negative, right? But just sometimes the mindset of the person who created it kind of feels like it was like the spinster and that kind of thing. And it's like, yeah, of course they're going to say that kind of stuff, because you're not a yes person. You're not just going to do what anyone says. You have boundaries, you have rights, like you have your own body, your mind body is yours, right? Your own temple. So yeah, you just I almost want to say fuck all of them. Like whoever this is, like whoever these people are that are always trying to tell you who to be and what to do. It's just like, let them live their life the way they want to and try not to pay any attention to them anymore. Yeah, fill up your own cups in your own way. This is also like an idea of making sure that the cups and your fulfillment is fulfilling yourself through growth, through love, through self-care, through community, through, you know, good people. Make sure it's not full of stuff that is like other people's as well. Because just because you've got to the 10 of Cups doesn't mean you can't pour out a cup and fill it up with what you want, right? Fill it up with champagne if you want champagne. I don't know. It's your choice. You're so close to like at such a good point though. Yeah, look at this. Look at the cards that are coming through, right? 4 of Wands. It's almost like you know how the Yellow Brick Road on the original, or like I don't know if it's the original, but you know the what, like 1940 something, 1930 something, whatever. Wizard of Oz. It's like it almost feels like that beginning. Like she's free, right? Just to be her. This isn't the 4 of Wands where someone else is there helping or like creating with you, and that's okay. You've created this path for you, and you can find your, you know, your Tin Man and all that stuff on your path. If you want the Tin Man, right? If you want someone else, go find them. But yeah, 4 of Wands is also a homecoming, and that feels like coming back to your true self, who's infinitely beautiful, who's infinitely loved, doesn't need the external validation. It's lovely getting it, but when you recognize that you don't need it, that's when you break free of the glass ceiling, basically. Alright, you've got the Hanged Man. This is about patience and time. Preservation. It's kind of interesting that it's called preservation. In my mind, when it says, I overcome all obstacles, and it's talking about preservation. Preservation to me is like keeping something true, right? And maybe that is keeping your soul true to you. But I feel like it's almost, it needs to be like perseverance, because that's kind of like what she's ready to go into, or overcome the obstacle, right? Face the demon, so to speak. And here I like it next to, I also like it next to the fairies as well, but next to the Hanged Man and the preservation is like remaining true to you and recognizing what's not yours and what is other people's kind of like ideals, right? So letting that go. There's like an idea of letting go and transcending old wounds, old patterns. You've got the 7 of Cups, kind of an interesting one here. That's why I was like, it isn't conjunct with the 10 of Cups. And the 10 of Cups almost felt like, yeah, there's like being very mindful of what your 10 of Cups is, because this is peace, this is happiness, this is growth through overcoming challenges. It wasn't just given to them, their fulfillment. Fulfillment can't be given. Money can be given, houses can be given. I don't know, what else, you know, whatever, food can be given. But true fulfillment cannot be given. Of course, certain things can help us achieve those things. And when we have a comfortable life and we don't have to worry about certain things, and it makes it easier to achieve those goals, but that doesn't mean they can't be achieved. And so the 7 of Cups is like, check which cups really need to be worked on or looked at, or even are filled with the things you want. Because this one's got worms in it. You don't really want worms unless you're going to take them to a garden so you can grow some fresh food, right? Then maybe the worms is exactly what you need. Okay. Wow, and then we've got the Ace of Pentacles here, and it's highlighting your value and your work that you've put in. I already said that from the beginning. You've put in a lot of work on yourself. You put a lot of work into people and assisted wherever you could. Right, and it's definitely started with you, so continue doing this work. At a soul level, it feels like you're mastering a particular skill by... It's like when I said, like, to really understand true beauty, you have to go through the ugliness in life, right? And it's like, that's the mastery. That's the real mastery. It's not getting everything easy given and handed to you, and it's like, oh yeah, of course, that's why you're good at this, because it's just handed to you. It's like, no, this isn't handed. You've earned it and you've worked for it, and you've gone through the challenges. I will say, if you're still working through this, keep going, keep doing the work. you're making progress. This is like a save the game at a certain point because you're coming up to like a new space which you don't really understand or know. So that's okay. It's new, it's fresh, it's something that'll bring through a new level of comprehension and mastery. Okay. Well, I'm going to leave that there. It is a very lovely reading for you today, pile number 2. All I can do is really sum it up and just say, remember who you are, your strength, your inner strength. When you need rest, take your rest. And that's what this is about as well, recognizing when you need space, what your fulfillment really is, what your need to focus on is at this point in time. So right now, today, it might be, doing some work and doing some self-care. Tomorrow, it might be going out and catching up with a friend or taking yourself to see a movie or like whatever, right? It's all up to you. It's all up to you how you proceed from here. But the more you believe and trust in yourself and what you're doing is for your highest good, you'll continually make the best choices in every moment for yourself because you already have set up a belief system where you trust in yourself no matter what comes up in your life. Yeah, and cut away the old, whatever doesn't work. Let the queen kind of do her work and letting go of things that you don't need, people that you don't need. Let them figure out their own life, right? All right, that's it. That is your reading. Thank you so much for letting me read today, letting me read for you today and connecting with your energy. I really appreciate it. If you have any comments, leave them down below. Otherwise, look after yourself, take care, and I'll see you next time. Hello, welcome pile number 3 to your reading. This is a reading around beauty, and we're really focusing in on the beauty of our soul. So you've got Agate, Wang, Mu with Stromatolite and rare success. Sorry if I have pronounced that incorrectly. This feels interesting. It feels like elegance and delicateness, right? Whether you identify that as not or not, that's okay. This isn't about changing who you are. This is about adding in or shining a light on an aspect of yourself that is delicate, basically, like elegant is like. For some reason, the song that's coming through is, I think it's Ariana Grande's Dangerous Woman. I don't know why. It just doesn't feel always delicate, right? But it's like that fierceness and beauty. So maybe this is kind of touching on external, internal, a bit of both. But regardless, we'll see what comes through. Rare success is really cool. It's just a reminder of your own uniqueness is your beauty, right? Who you are, at the core of who you are, is beauty, is beautiful. Has nothing really to do with the skin, the hair, that kind of stuff. If you enjoy that kind of stuff, perfect. Enjoy it, right? But that's not where it comes from. It comes from the inner. And sometimes the outer things can help remind us of our inner, but working on the inner and letting that through is always going to overpower or outweigh the kind of external fluff, so to speak. Okay, this card flew out. You've got the thread. Look at that. She's pulling, or he's pulling, whoever is pulling the thread, and they're seeing the light and the rainbow and the beauty behind all the shadow, right? And the darkness. This could even be actually talking to the beauty in the world, especially if you've got to a point of like, I don't want to be on this planet anymore, I just never want to leave, kind of thing. Seek assistance where you need assistance if you're being serious about that kind of stuff. But it's just like that, like, I don't see anything worthy or valuable on this planet. If that's true, be mindful of what you're consuming. If you're consuming negative stories or constant horrible things. I was even watching some American TV channel and it was turned into the news and I was like, this is probably going to be bad. But I thought, you know what? I feel like I need to watch it. So I watched it and it was lovely. It was a story not about politics or any other the crap that's going on or any of that. It was talking about these people who started something when COVID hit to help feed people that needed it in a safe and like sterile environment. And I can't remember what it was, but it was like they make like chef quality kind of like food and then give it to people who need it. And so it's like twice a week or something like that. They set up this kind of like feeding station and somewhere in the US, which I know is gigantic, but somewhere in the US. And so it just reminded me of how amazing we are at supporting and helping each other as well. And so those kind of stories remind us that it's not all just what we perceive or see. It's also there's so much going on in the world that we only have a limited amount of time to absorb certain things. And the stories that sell or that get people talking or riled up are controversial usually, or even just very far spectrum kind of like extremes. So I think the thread is like, keep pulling on this, you'll start to see this beauty and delicate energy within you and also in the world as well. The Bardo, I've never pulled this card. Look at all these skulls, that's really interesting. I'm gonna read the book for that. Unfortunately, the book is tiny. Oh, L. L is 50 in Roman numerals. The Bardo. Okay, in the shadow, in the light it says spaciousness, grace, forgiveness, and truth. Absolutely. This is almost like going through difficulty and dark challenges to find the truth of the matter. It's like when we see someone and we end up being in a relationship with them and it's all based off like the idea of who they are rather than who they are, right? And then we get the reality check and sometimes we stay in those connections way longer than they need to or should be. And, you know, it's kind of like we learn a lesson, right? And in the dark, it says ferment, dislocation, hallucination, and transience. It says the liminal, the in-between, and the transition. So the Bardo is kind of like limbo is kind of how it's feeling. It's like a limbo state. And that's kind of where this is, because it's not like you're in the light here. You haven't got there yet, or you're still working towards that purity, and you're in the in-between. The in-between's great to be in, to transition, right? It's like great to get from one point to the next. So maybe this is where you're remembering your own divinity, your own purity. Let's see what else comes through. Yeah, be mindful of what you consume. That's why this external is really, really coming through. And the external is fine. We live in like a 3D life, right? The external is important, but it's not everything. And with the Akrabamalu and the cuneiform is a style of writing, and the Akrabamalu is this wild man-looking scorpion man. Talks about friction, communication, and gossip, right? Don't get caught up in drama and gossip, or even calling out fake stuff, right? Just unsubscribe immediately from the whole thing. Don't get caught up in the comment section of rubbish, rubbish videos and all that kind of stuff. Don't even look at it. Maybe you want to have some time where you just put your phone down and go out and just remember like the tree that's growing in the garden, or how far a plant has decided to reach through the cracks and have life in a very difficult environment, right? It has to really push through and find a little bit of space here and there. So yeah, be mindful of what you consume is really important here. This pose is so funny to me. I don't know why. It's kind of like the hey. Anyway, so you got crystals. With the energy of crystals supports you and helps you with your present situation. Crystals are fine, right? You got Stromatolite here. You might want to look that up because that is the crystal in this particular deck. There is a crystal here which kind of, I have no idea, but it's very like transparent red, almost like dried blood or something. Probably not the best imagery, but that kind of like amber. It's almost like red amber. So yeah, if you want to work with crystals and that kind of stuff, sure. But I also feel like her reaching out and just being in her own energy is where she recharges and remembers her divinity and her beauty, right? So step into your own energy and see what it looks like, because it'll show you like, oh, you've been consuming this a lot, because your mind will bring it to your forefront. And it's like, oh yeah, this video upset me, and then this comment upset me, and this, and it's like, okay, do I need to worry about that? No. Will I even meet this person? Never. It's never going to happen. Let's just release it. Let them be them, even if their opinion might feel wrong. I don't need to get involved in that drama. It's just like, let these people just keep yelling, because eventually they'll keep yelling, no one's responding, they'll think no one's there, and then they'll just go away. Or you can just leave and go away from it, right? Because it's not important. Don't be afraid to block people, block channels, block things. Just block it. Block it out. It'll train your algorithm to bring you stuff that you just need to like have a feel-good moment, right? Animals being cute, children saying silly, funny things, you know, that kind of stuff. Even though I'm sure dramatic people will still find a comment in there to like bitch about, but fuck them. Don't play into it. They're just dealing with their own unhappy selves, basically. You've got God of the Nile with enrichment. My joyful dedication and perseverance are paying off. Yeah. I mean, that's basically it. I'm fulfilling myself by surrounding my energy with good things, by releasing toxicity within my energy. I really want to talk to... Okay, this card is flying away, so I just want to grab it. But I really want to talk to... What was I going to talk to? Damn it, it disappeared. If it comes back, I'll talk to it. Got distracted by Goddess Boan flying around. Power, I fill my cup, 100%. This is all of it, right? You've got the Nile here with all the nutrients from where the water's originated flowing all the way down into the ocean, right? It brings in a huge amount of nutrients for the soil around there. That's why they're able to have crops and growth there, because otherwise it literally is kind of like desert, right? It's just desert. There's land and stuff, but it's like you go further out away from any water source and it's just desert, which has its own environment and niche and need and whatever, but like, you know, there's a lot of richness in certain places and certain areas along the banks. So you fill your cup, you find information that really touches to you, because you are a little delicate flower in a sense of, not like to mock you obviously, but to just remind you that your sensitivities are important. And just because someone rolls around with like uninhibited, like blasting their bullshit radar and kind of like just yelling at nothing, right? Doesn't mean that it's directed at you, doesn't mean it's really for you. And just let them go off. They'll eventually burn themselves out and have a nap or something, who knows. But yeah, it's not for you to really get involved. It's just their own drama. Focus on your desire and needs and look after your sensibilities. Is coming through. Don't see your sensitiveness as weakness, see it as like your strength. Yeah, that's what I was going to talk to. With the crystals being right next to Boan, I fill my cup. It was looking like your auric field. You might even want to do some or watch some videos where there's like aura fluffing, right? Where they just kind of like have a feather and kind of like, I don't know, Reiki kind of stuff. I'm not too sure, I don't really do that, but I watch some videos where people do it and it feels really nice. Even at the end of the day, if it's doing anything or not, how do I feel afterwards? That's what's important. Not so much if, you know, rando number 5,503 wants to like comment about how it doesn't work, right? It's just like, who cares? That doesn't work for you. That doesn't mean anything to me. So focus on how you feel from what you do, what you put yourself through, what information you're receiving and consuming. Like really listen in and feel how your body's responding, how your mind's responding, how your emotions are responding, how your soul's responding. Okie dokie. This feels like cutting cords, actually. You've got the Two of Swords, which is usually decision making, but she's not even got the swords up and she's not blindfolded, right? She's recognizing where her energy is being spent and where it needs to be, where her mind is. She knows, and she knows the path to take, basically. It's just like, it's hard to kind of like get up and do it, it feels. Got the Hanged Man, enlightenment, taking time. Giving yourself some space to breathe. Ooh, look at the world. Sorry about the boob popping out. Nip slip. Yeah, beautiful. The world is coming to a culmination, recognizing, oh, okay, whatever occurred was actually going to, well, whatever occurred has occurred. I can't change the past, is the mindset, and to really remember, like, I need to celebrate when I do things that honor myself, honor my sensibilities, my senses, my uniqueness. We also have the Tower coming through, clearing out the old. The old have to. If your cup's full of other people's piss, right, tip out the piss. You don't need it. Tip it out. Because it's piss, right? Just because someone's like, here, hold my jug of piss. It's like, no. I don't want it. Let them hold their own rubbish. Let them deal with themselves. You've got the Four of Pentacles. It kind of makes it hard to move on, or hard, it's like it's a difficult choice to make, but it's okay. It does feel like it's the right choice. Magician, reclaiming power. Love this for you, power number 3. The Magician, the world at the end, the culmination, the remembrance of who you are, the reminder of your own power and wisdom and everything, right? Everything you need is within you to do what you want out of this lifetime. And that's like a whole nother read, like afterwards of this. Not that I'm going to do it, but you know, it's just like, that's for you to decide the future. So your reading about beauty is really a reminder of like what is causing shadow or cloudiness and confusion within your reality now. Is it because of this war going on? Is it because of like this in the news or that in the news, or this toxic energy or negative? It doesn't have to be like lies, right? It's just negative constantly. Am I putting myself in harm's way, or like it's affecting my mental by continually looking at spaces that don't give me joy? It's kind of like if you're playing a game, right? And you play it for like half an hour, let's say, and then people are abusive and all this kind of stuff and negative. And it's just like, this was supposed to be a space where I wind down and feel good about a long, busy day. If I'm not getting that here, I don't want to participate in it. So I'm going to either just completely remove chat, voice chat, that kind of thing, and can't see any of it. If I can't do that, then I'm just going to shut it down, right? I'm going to look at something else or go somewhere else, or maybe just watch a movie that I know will lift my spirits. So really look after yourself and tap into your sensibilities, because that is your beauty, that is your core. These aren't bad parts of you. There's no bad or good parts of you. There are parts that are either like in wound and reacting out of wound, in the kind of like on one side, and then all the way in between is all sorts of other stuff, right? And then the light is like self-honoring, self-believing, self-trusting, and you know, or anything in between is where we're at in many different areas of our life. So do the things that fill your cup and fill it with good stuff, not piss, basically. I don't know why piss is coming through. It's just like, don't take on other people's bile or rubbish. Like, let them deal with their own rubbish. They'll eventually have to deal with it anyway, and if they don't, then they'll come back and have another life where they hopefully will deal with it. And if they don't, you know, that's up to the soul. That's up to that particular soul. Okay. Don't be afraid of the tower falling, especially if it's built on shoddy foundations. Okay, I think I'm done with this one. Very good. I'm going to leave that here. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. I didn't think I really touched too much on the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles is just basically like an extreme, right? It's like generally can be overspending or hoarding money or like energy or ideas, like holding things back, keeping yourself closed off. You don't have to, especially if the foundations are shoddy. Open up, like be aware of what's what, and then use your good power to make the shifts and changes you want to see in your own environment, whether that's being self-disciplined or just going out and living life in a in a natural environment way for a couple of days or whatever, whatever it is. You do you. All right. Thank you so much for letting me read for you today, Pile 3. Take care of yourself. Look after yourself. Be kind to yourself with your the things that make you you are not bad. They are all parts of you that are there to be learnt and understood and worked with. So appreciate you for letting me tap into your energy for this reading. Take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next reading.